Hey there, this is Ron LeGrand back with another in the series of commercial training that we've been doing. And in fact, this is our next to the last lesson. And the lesson today is going to be about how to become a developer without knowing anything about developing and get 50% of the profits from a project and get paid monthly along the way while you're having somebody else do all of the work. So I'm going to go through the steps. Now, I address this a lot more carefully when you get to the live training, and I hope you got the information about the live training. It's coming up very quickly, and if you haven't, call our office and get it. The number is 800-567-6128 because we got a great deal, best deal I've ever given on this training going on right now. Today I want to talk to you about, actually I invented this program. I don't even know that I have a name for it, but what it is a joint venture with a landowner is what it is. So let's go through the steps. I think you'll find the steps easy, but I probably have to watch this a couple times to really get it because I'm sure you're going to have questions. First, how many landowners do you know with large parcels of land? It could be large parcel of land, it could be smaller parcel of land. In fact, any piece of land that is not at its highest and best use is a candidate for this particular program. In fact, I would even say that you could extend this program to buildings, not just land. As long as you've got a seller who's sitting on the property and not making the best use out of it, and probably never will. I use land because there's so many parcels of land out there right now where the seller hasn't done what they need to do to go get the property rezoned and entitled and ready to change the use of it, or they know how to do it and they just don't want to do it because they don't want to do it. For a lot of reasons. So let's assume that we found such a landowner, and they're not hard to find. In fact, I showed you on a previous lesson how to go on websites. In fact, go on one called landwatch.com. You'll find all the land you want anywhere in the country, bank owned, seller financing, all kinds and shapes and sizes of land. And the good thing about land right now is it is really, really, really cheap. Now, I'm not trying to get you to buy land here. I don't want you to spend any money, so that ain't what this is about. This is about applying what you know to landowners and helping them create value and getting them paid while you get paid and no risk on your part. So step one is to find somebody with a big tract of land that's in the path of progress. Now for my example here, I'm going to use a piece of land that's best suited to have rezoned and have a plat map drawn up with single family houses on it. So it has to be in the path of progress. Now, depending on where you live, there's going to be more or less demand for single family houses right now, but please don't assume we're going to build anything. We're not. We're never going to have a tractor come to this land. We're not going to touch the land, so just hang in there with me and get all of those questions out of your mind about, wow, this sounds like it's complicated, it sounds like I got to come up with money. Not true. So just listen closely. I'm looking for a landowner with a piece of land that there's a higher and better use apparent, but nobody has done anything to get it there. So the best candidate for a single family house project is land real close to the city or even within the city that hasn't been developed yet but has houses around it. So if you stand on that land and you can see that the best use of it is houses, here we go. So step one is to locate landowners and then approach them, and a very simple pitch. My pitch would be, Mr. Landowner, here's what I'll do for you. If you and I come to an agreement, I will do everything necessary to get your land rezoned and a plat map drawn up and get that plat map entitled for a subdivision to go on your land. And that is going to require several months, and it's going to require some outside experts. I'm going to go find the experts, and I'll employ the experts, which means an engineer and an architect and an attorney to get the proper work done, to get the plan to the city, and to get the city to stamp their approval on that plan. Now, when we get this done, my intent is to then hire a quality broker in our area to sell this land off to a builder, to a home builder. So I'll get all the work done. I don't know how many months it's going to take. I'll get you the information we need to determine about how long that's going to be and about how much it's going to cost to get the plan approved and entitled by the city. Here's how I work. I want 50% of the back end profits from the project after you get paid a reasonable price for your land as is. Then I would say, what do you think, what would you sell this land for right now if somebody were to bring you a check? And I'll get an answer. That answer is going to be low because it's probably farmland. It's agricultural most likely. It's not been rezoned. So that land's going to be at its cheapest price. So we arrive at a number. And then I would say, okay, when we get paid, you will get that number, and then we will split the back end profits 50-50 after that. Now, all I need to make this work is a little bit of money to hire the engineers, the architect, and the attorney to get it to the point to where the broker can take it over and then get it sold. I do not know how much that is right now, but I will know with a little bit of due diligence work on the front end as soon as you say, yes, you would like for us to do this, and I get an agreement with you. Now, we will have to raise that money. I do not want you to write a check, but I will borrow it, or actually you will borrow it. I will get a private lender to lend the money on your property. Now, it does mean that you'll have to put a very small first mortgage on your property to get the funds to improve your property. But the worst can happen is, Mr. Landowner, that your property gets improved and it becomes more valuable even if I go away. We will sign an agreement that every bit of the money we borrow will go into an escrow account handled by a CPA who will write the checks accordingly to get the end goal done. And once I get to the point to where we are ready to move forward, then I'm going to expect a monthly fee for my services, and then a fee when I get the land entitled, and then a fee or 50% of the profits on the back end. So your only risk is, Mr. Landowner, that we put a small mortgage on your property. I will not ask you to sign on the note. It'll be non-recourse, no personal liability. Other than that, all the money will come out of that loan to do everything that we need to do. Again, you do not have to do anything except okay the general premises of this deal. I'll bring you all the facts, and then if you want to do that, we'll move forward. So, step one is find a landowner. Step two is propose the simple joint venture. And then the next step is to execute the development agreement that outlines your duties, which are, they're right up on you in front of the screen here. Here are the duties that you just agreed to do. You're going to hire the professionals, which is an engineer, an attorney, and when you get to it, a commercial realtor. Now, my friends, it costs nothing to hire an engineer. Most of them will do a lot of front-end work for you for nothing. They'll do a general layout of the property. They will do a highest and best use search for you. They'll tell you how many lots you can put on per acre and all of that stuff. All of the land developments that I've done, I've had engineers do that up front. They only get paid after they've done a lot of front-end work for you. So you can get all of that done and take it back to the landowner before we even get to the point where we get a little private loan to cover our cost on his land. Same thing is true with an attorney. An attorney will get involved on the front end. You will want a retainer, but you just simply tell the attorney you're not going to get the retainer until after we know this is a go. And we just want you there to make sure that we're okay legally along the way. And again, the commercial broker, you don't even worry about till the back end. So if you find the engineer will find the attorney. If you find the attorney will find the engineer. So all I'm telling you is you got to put a couple of people in place and not even pay them until it looks like it's a go, and they do the work to tell you whether it's a go. Next, you have to tell the engineer, next step is to go back to the landowner, get the okay, make sure you have an agreement, and then tell the engineer to go forward after you've figured out what it's going to cost. The engineer will tell you about what it's going to cost to get the city to approve this plat map and all the other fees that are involved, and you'll have a number. And I'm going to give you an example here in a minute so you'll know how much to raise. So the next step is to simply let the engineer do what the engineer does best, draw up a plat map, take it to the city, and get it approved. Now, along the way, when it's time for you to start shelling out money, you are going to have to get a loan on the property, but you'll know how much that loan is going to be during this process because the engineer is going to give you that number. Now all you got to do is factor in how much you think it's worth per month for you to manage this project, minimum of $5,000. $10,000 is not unreasonable at all from the point where you know it's a go. Not from the very beginning, but the point where you know it's a go. And then factor in your $50,000 fee when you get the city to approve the entitlement, and then from there you're home free. So once you get to the point to where the property is entitled, then the engineer is done for the moment. Now it's just time to turn it over to the real estate broker. So your costs are not that much to get it entitled. Now they're going to vary depending on where you're at. Time is going to vary. Again, your engineer will tell you that number. So all we've done is I've got a joint venture agreement with a landowner. I've hired an engineer to do all of the work. He's told me how much money we're going to have to raise when he gets ready. Now we know how much we have to go back and borrow, making sure that we add in enough to get us paid. Now we bring in a CPA to set up an escrow account with and disperse the checks based on the agreement that I've already drawn up, which you're going to be able to get right here on the Gold Club site. So let's do an example. We're going to put an example on the board up here for you. Let's just say that it's a 60-acre piece of land suitable for retail in this case. And let's just say that the asking price is $1.8 million for that, which is $30,000 an acre. And that we think, based on a little bit of research, that the value after rezoned would be $6 million. Now, guys and gals, that is not uncommon at all. The minute you present a plan to the city, or even rezone the property to the city, as soon as you change the use from lowest to highest, the value of your land just doubled, tripled, or quadrupled. And let me go back and say that one more time. You haven't touched the land. You haven't laid a finger on the land. All you've done is hire an engineer, an attorney, to take the property from its lowest use and present a plan to the city to get it to a higher use and wait. It will take several months, but you're not doing much in the middle. So we haven't laid a finger on the property. So in the minute the city says, yes, I will stamp my approval on that rezoning, your property value just went up. If in fact you are presenting them an actual plat map and they stamp that, your property value just went up more. But even if you just get it rezoned, you've increased the value of the property for the owner if you don't take it any further than that. So in our example, we got a $6 million value, and we figured it'll take about $300,000 worth of total cost to get it there. Honestly, that's very, 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 very high, probably 3 times what it's going to cost. But again, you will know that number before you get very deep into this. So now we just simply list it with a broker, and the broker sells the property for $6 million. And let's go to our next slide and take a look at our potential profit here. We sell it for $6 million. We pay the owner their $1.8 million. Remember, they get paid for the land plus 50% of the back end profits. So they get $1.8 million out of the sales proceeds. The $300,000 loan that we borrowed to pay the cost is repaid back. And then I got another $400,000 in here for real estate commission and whatever costs come up. So in my hypothetical example here, we've sold the land for $6 million, paid the owner $1.8, paid the cost, and split the rest. And there's a $3.5 million net profit in this particular deal. And of course, that's $3.5 million that we split with the landowner. And yes, the agreement to do all of this is right on your Gold Club site. Go under Resources, go under Commercial, and under there you'll find this entire joint venture development agreement. It's called a development agreement if I'm not mistaken. In fact, if you just take the development agreement down and read it, it'll explain to you and it'll explain to the seller exactly what I just said in layman's terms that the seller can understand. So what do you get out of it? Well, you get a $5,000 a month management fee for just simply hiring the engineer and sitting back and wait for the engineer to do what they do best. You get a $50,000 bonus when the stamp is approved at the city, and you get 50% of the profits when the commercial broker sells the property to a builder who will build houses or buildings or whatever the use is on the property. See, the whole key is that you've got absolutely no money invested. You get paid for what you know. You get paid to put other people in place to do what they do best. And I guess the next question you better be asking yourself is how many of these could you do simultaneously at one time when you're not even doing the work, you're having somebody else do the work. So if you know how to find landowners, which you're going to learn in class, go to landwatch.com, and if you know how to present this proposal, which you're going to learn in class, and you have an agreement, which you're going to get right on your site, you literally can do as many of these as you want. Remember, I don't expect you to know anything about land development. I don't expect you to know anything about how your city works. Your engineer does all of that for you, guys and gals. So I hope I hope it wasn't too complicated for you. I will tell you this, there's an awful lot of money. What I just presented to you was a huge way to get into commercial property with no money, no credit, no risk. I did it all in a few minutes. Wait till I have more time to spend on it. So that's the end of this lesson. And I hope to see you. I'm doing one more lesson for you, and make sure you get into my 4-day training coming up. Do not miss that. It's an incredible event. We're going to have a huge deal-a-thon. We're going to have a lot of deals come in. I got a conference call coming up, in fact, this week. Make sure you're on that, and bring some deals to class, and that's what that call is going to be about. I'm going to teach you how to bring those deals to class, and come loaded, and I'll have an expert in the room that'll go through all your deals with you. And got 3 expert guests on, I think you should know by now, we just had them up, Scott Myers on self-storage, Dave Lindell on apartments, and Jack Bosch on little land flips, nothing like we just described. So we got a great event, guys. Do everything you can to get there. We're not going to do another one until real late this year. Love to see you here in just a few days up. So see you soon. Thanks for watching.